Last month, 4 members of the Edina City Council joined mayors, council members, and other delegates from cities and towns across the country for the National League of Cities annual Congressional City Conference in Washington, D.C. Edina TV's Tom Cornell met with the attendees to find out how they plan to put what they learned at the conference to use here in Edina.
Well, we're excited about coming. Thank you so much.
The National League of Cities conference in Washington, D.C. last week was, I think, especially illuminating to me. It was my first time participating in a conference of that kind. Most importantly, I think, is really the networking with other municipal elected officials throughout the country.
New council member Ron Anderson was one of the delegates to the 2019 Congressional City Conference, along with Edina City Council members Mary Brindle, Mike Fisher, and Kevin Staunton. Each of them came home with some valuable precepts for local governing.
The one thing that came through to me very, very clearly is the commonality of issues that first-tier suburbs face throughout our nation.
How do you manage your water infrastructure? How do you deal with affordable housing? Getting ideas from other communities across the country and people who are really wrestling with the same issues.
So this year it was spectacular because there was a council member from California who's actually done a ton of work, research on first-tier suburbs, and he presented his work, and it was great.
No matter where you are in the country, you are dealing with the same things. You're dealing with affordable housing. You're dealing with stormwater management.
This year's conference theme, Rebuild with Us, urged local delegates to call upon their representatives on Capitol Hill to create a long-term plan to improve our nation's infrastructures, as well as to invest in workforce skills training and education. To that end, Edina delegates met with Minnesota congresspeople in their offices on Capitol Hill.
The primary focus of the conference isn't to fly to Washington, D.C. to go to a session on ethics. It's to go and meet with your whole congressional group.
We went and met with our 2 legislative representatives, Representative Phillips and Representative Omar, who are both brand new representatives in Washington, and had a chance to share with them personally some of the concerns for the city.
With so much to do and so many sessions to attend in just a 3-day event, how can it all possibly get done?
We sort of divide and conquer in a way. So I sort of look at it as if half the council and our city manager is going to the noise session, I don't need to go to the noise session. I want to go somewhere else and see what else I can learn during that time slot.
Great, we're up here solving problems.
In the end, it's not about the sessions they attend or the meetings they have that's valuable. It's about what the delegates bring back home.
I think we learn a lot, gain a broader perspective by understanding our different tools. Because while we don't have the same tools as someone in Maine or someone in California, their tools can inform us about the tools we don't have that we could have, and vice versa.
The knowledge gained, the experience gained is in the best interest of the city, and that's why I believe that we go to these conferences and should continue to go.
In total, there were over 2,000 attendees at the national conference.